They called him the next Warren Buffett. He was the golden boy of the financial world, a 29-year-old billionaire who slept on a beanbag chair, drove a beat-up Toyota Corolla, and promised to give all his money away to save humanity. He graced the covers of Forbes and Fortune, sat before Congress to advise on regulations, and had celebrities and politicians eating out of the palm of his hand. The world didn't just trust him, they idolized him. He built an empire that looked like a fortress of genius, a $40 billion cathedral dedicated to the future of money. But it was all a mirage. Behind the magazine covers and the altruistic slogans lay a rot so deep it would eventually swallow the savings of millions of innocent people. This wasn't just a business failure. It was a carefully constructed hallucination, a $40 billion lie that fooled the smartest investors, the toughest regulators, and the entire world. To understand how this happened, you have to look at the mask he wore. Sam Bankman-Fried didn't look like a Wall Street shark. He looked like a chaotic, unkempt genius, the kind of person who was too busy solving the world's problems to care about fashion or luxury. This image was his most valuable asset. It disarmed everyone. When he pitched his cryptocurrency exchange, FTX, he didn't pitch it as a way to get rich. He pitched it as the safe, regulated adult in the room of a chaotic industry. Investors, desperate for a sure thing in the wild west of crypto, poured billions into his vision. Sequoia Capital, BlackRock, and soft-spoken pension funds lined up to give him money, convinced by the narrative of the humble genius. They saw the frantic typing during meetings and the messy hair, and saw productivity, not recklessness. But while the world saw a revolutionary exchange, the reality inside the penthouse in the Bahamas was a chaotic mess of nepotism and secret backdoors. The engine behind the lie was a hedge fund called Alameda Research, run by Sam's inner circle. On paper, FTX and Alameda were separate entities, a necessary wall to protect customer funds. In reality, that wall was non-existent. Sam had secretly coded a backdoor into the FTX system, a special privilege that allowed Alameda to borrow unlimited amounts of money from the exchange's customers without anyone knowing. It was like a bank manager taking money from your savings account to gamble at the casino, promising to put it back before you checked your balance. For years it worked. Alameda made risky bets, and when they lost, they simply dipped into the pot of customer funds to cover the holes. The numbers grew staggering. Billions of dollars in user deposits, money that everyday people thought was sitting safely in their accounts, were being funneled into luxury real estate, political donations, and high-risk venture deals. They bought $100 million properties in the Bahamas, flew on private jets, and sponsored Formula One teams and NBA arenas. The Miami Heat's stadium was renamed after them. The name FTX was everywhere, plastered on umpire uniforms in Major League Baseball. It was a marketing blitz designed to project infinite stability. The more visible they were, the less anyone questioned where the money was coming from. It is the oldest trick in the con artist's playbook. If you look big enough, people assume you are too big to fail. The cracks finally began to show in November. A leaked balance sheet from Alameda Research surfaced, showing that the vast majority of their assets were not real dollars or stable investments, but a made-up cryptocurrency printed by FTX itself. It was a house of cards built on imaginary money. When a rival billionaire pointed this out and announced he was selling his stake, panic set in. It was a classic run on the bank. Customers rushed to withdraw their money, billions of dollars in request within hours. In a normal exchange, this wouldn't be a problem because the money would be there. But the money wasn't there. It was in the penthouses, the political campaigns, and the bad trades. As the withdrawals piled up, Sam tried to hold the line. He tweeted that assets are fine, a final desperate lie to calm the storm. But the blockchain doesn't lie. Analysts watching the on-chain data saw the liquidity drying up. The fortress was empty. Within days, the $40 billion empire collapsed into bankruptcy. The staff, many of whom believed in the mission, were left in shock. The customers, from small-time savers to massive hedge funds, saw their balances drop to zero. The adult in the room had lost it all. The fallout was catastrophic. It wasn't just about the money lost, it was the betrayal of trust. This was the guy who lectured Washington on ethics. This was the guy who preached effective altruism, the philosophy of earning as much as possible to give it all away. It turned out he was effectively stealing to keep the illusion alive. When the authorities finally moved in, the sheer scale of the negligence was breathtaking. There was no accounting department, no board of directors, just a group of kids in a penthouse sending emojis to approve multi-million-dollar transfers. The trial that followed peeled back the final layers of the mask. His closest allies turned against him, revealing the panic and the deceit that defined the final months. They spoke of spreadsheets hiding billion-dollar holes and secret chats set to auto-delete. The genius boy king was revealed to be a manipulative gambler who doubled down every time he lost, using other people's money as his chips. He sat in the courtroom, stripped of his influence, his reputation in tatters, facing decades in prison. The story of FTX is a warning for the ages. It reminds us that there is no shortcut to due diligence. It exposes how desperate the world is for a savior, for a genius who has it all figured out. We wanted to believe in the boy with the messy hair and the good intentions. We wanted to believe that someone had finally tamed the chaos of the future. But finance has no heroes, only numbers. And when the numbers are fabricated, even a $40 billion castle is nothing more than a pile of sand waiting for the tide. The lie didn't just fool the world because it was clever. It fooled the world because it was exactly what the world wanted to hear. And that is the most dangerous kind of lie of all. Don't forget to give your feedback in comments section. If you like this video, hit like button and subscribe to our channel. Thanks.